Hey, it's Till, and in this video we will program FizzBuzz, which is based on a simple game for children with Java and IntelliJ IDEA. With FizzBuzz you start counting upwards, and whenever a number is divisible by 3, then you say fizz. When divisible by 5, you say buzz, and when divisible by both, you say FizzBuzz. FizzBuzz can be used as an entry-level interview question to a programming job, because with it you can determine if someone can program at all, and thus it is a great starting point for beginners to start learning programming. These are our requirements to solve the FizzBuzz problem. First, start counting from 1 to any number you like. Second, write the number to the console. Third, if the number is divisible by 3, write fizz instead of the number. 4. If the number is divisible by 5, write buzz instead of the number. The last one is something that can be derived from divisible by 3 and 5 rule. If the number is divisible by 3 and 5, then write FizzBuzz instead of the number. Writing it like this is a solution description to the FizzBuzz problem. There are multiple ways to approach this task. We will start in the simplest way. Create a new program by going to File, New, Project, and call it FizzBuzz, and select JDK 17. Download JDK 17 if necessary. Navigating the source folder and then to main, you will find a simple program that prints Hello World to the console. From the last video or any other Hello World tutorial, you probably already know what it does. If not, then please start the program through the green play button and have a look. The ability to print something to the console is actually enough to solve the FizzBuzz problem manually. So then let's solve the problem by counting to 5. I will write the steps as fast as I can. 1, 2, fizz, 4, and buzz. So let's run the program and see what it prints. The output is as expected, and our problem is actually solved in a very simple way. Now let's implement counting to 10. Then the sixth one is fizz, 7, 8, fizz, and buzz. As you can see, it was already tedious to implement the 5 new statements, and the computer didn't help really much, did it? Doing it like this has 2 main problems. First, you have to think by yourself if the numbers are divisible, and then either write the number, fizz, or buzz. Second, you have to write a lot of statements, and thus it's a hassle to extend the program. It's a lot of repetition. Let's approach those problems in that order and start with how we can let the computer decide if the number is divisible or not. Let's create a new method that will calculate what we want to print based on a given number. Type calc FizzBuzz and autocomplete it with create method by having the cursor over it, pressing Alt Enter and selecting create method. A new method is created where we need to change the return type and parameters. Complete the method statement by adding a semicolon at the end. Let's look at the calc FizzBuzz method. The return type of the newly created method is void. This means that it has no return type. Methods can either return something or return nothing. We will change it to string, meaning that it will return a text. The text is either fizz, buzz, FizzBuzz, or the number. Furthermore, we need to add a parameter to the method so that we can give it something on what it can base its calculation on. This will be the number we want to check for FizzBuzz division. For example, 1, 2, 3, or 4. We call the parameter number, and its type int means number without fractions. The resulting method signature looks like this. Private static string calc FizzBuzz int number. Think of methods as processing units where you optionally can throw something in, called input, and optionally get something out, called output. An example for a void method with a single parameter is systemoutPrintLine, which prints the thing you give it to the console and does not return any output. As a reminder, The calc FizzBuzz method should check if a number is divisible by 3 and or 5 and return the correct text based on its evaluation. With our current knowledge, we do not know how to solve this. Let's try to Google it. Java, how to check if a number is divisible by 3. You will usually find good answers on the Stack Overflow page. The Stack Overflow answer is exactly what we need. It tells us to use the modulo operator, which is that percentage symbol. There's also an if in front of the modulo operation. The if is a conditional statement where if the conditional is true or correct, then anything in the block after the if is executed. You can read that answer as, if the thing called I divided by 3 has 0 as remainder, then execute the if block. Let's copy that over into our calc FizzBuzz method. The number we want to check is not called I, but number instead. So we should fix that. What should happen if our number is divisible by 3? Then we should print fizz. That means we have to return fizz in the calc FizzBuzz method when the number is divisible by 3. Put curly braces after the if statement. Everything in those curly braces only gets executed when the conditional statement is true. We will return fizz in that block. We also need to return the number at the very end of the method for the case when no condition is met, meaning that we return the number when it is not divisible by 3. Numbers are not texts, so we need to convert number to a text. Put the cursor on it and press Alt-Enter. And then wrap using string value off. Even though the method is not done yet, as we lack the conditional for 5 and buzz, and also when the number is divisible by 3 and 5 simultaneously, we will start using it now to see if the current code is working. Create a method called simple and copy over all statements into its body. Now replace all numbers, fizzes and buzzes with calc FizzBuzz and the numbers. Every number divisible by 3 will now be printed as fizz. Let's start the program and see what happens. Can you also fix the calc FizzBuzz method for 5 and buzz? If you want to try, then pause the video, do the fix and come back afterwards. The procedure is basically the same as with number 3. Copy over everything we did for number 3 and change 3 to 5 and fizz to buzz, then run the program again. Let's increase the number of statements up to number 15. Let's check if it's working, so let's run the program. It's almost working except for the number 15 and any other number that is divisible by 3 and 5 at the same time. Let's see what happens. Only fizz is printed, but it should be FizzBuzz, so let's fix that. Look at the calc FizzBuzz method. Let's go through it and pretend that the number has the value 15. If the number is 15, then the first statement will fire, as 15 is divisible by 3. Thus, we will leave the method at the return fizz. But what we actually want is that it also fires for number 5 and combine fizz with buzz. With the current structure of the method, it is not possible to achieve what we desire. We need to either introduce a new concept called variables or add another conditional. Let's go for the conditional, as it will be easier to understand. As the divisible by 3 conditional will always fire and leave no possible way for the divisible by 5 conditional to fire, we need to do something before we check the divisible by 3 conditional. If you have an idea on what to do next, then please try and come back afterwards. What we can do here is combine both conditionals for divisible by 3 and 5 into a single third conditional. So let's do that and then run the program again. We can combine two conditionals with the double AND symbol. And then both sides need to be evaluated to true. We will return FizzBuzz in this block. Let's run the program again. Look at 15. Looks like as if it's working. You can also add a statement for 30 and see if that also works. Let's tackle the other problem. Lots of repetition and thus annoying to change code base. See, we do have to write a lot of system out print lines and calc FizzBuzz method calls and also need to count by ourselves. Wouldn't it be great to let the computer count for us and not have to repeat ourselves so much? There's a construct in Java to represent repetition. Let's Google that with Java repetition. Click the first link. You will find a description of multiple ways to repeat oneself in code. The one interesting for us is the for loop. It is a very versatile one as it can be a substitute for all other forms of looping. When you look at the tutorial page, you will see that the first bit is exactly what we need as they use a loop to count. Let's copy over this loop into the main method. Comment simple by putting two slashes in front of it so it doesn't execute. Let's start the program and see what the for loop does. The loop repeats everything in the curly braces and puts the current number or iteration into the count variable. The variable count is just a container where the number is held. You can play around with the statements in the for loop. For example, you can start from another number than 0 and you can count higher by changing the 10. The for loop has three statements in the braces that describe how the looping is done, delimited by semicolons. The first bit is initialization of the loop counter. For us, this means starting at 1. The second is the condition that should be met so the loop continues looping. For us, this means go on counting as long as count is smaller or equal than 20. For us, this means it counts to 20. The third is doing something every loop iteration. For us, this means increasing the counter by 1. Count plus plus is a short form of incrementing the count variable. Let's create a new method called FizzBuzz loop. Copy the for loop into it. What needs to be done to do the FizzBuzz again? Feel free to try it and come back after you are done. What you need to do is replace the count variable with calc FizzBuzz count. Meaning putting the for loop counter into our calc FizzBuzz method and everything should work as expected. Let's try it out. And that's it. Can you make FizzBuzz count to 100? In this video you saw print into console, conditional statements with if, test for divisible with the modulo operator, extracting processing units with methods, and repetition through for loops. We also briefly saw a variable, but I didn't go too deep into that topic. Is there anything you are missing or had problems with? Let me know in the comments what you think about this video. I hope you liked the video. If you want to see more of these videos, then please like and subscribe to my channel. See you in the next one.